Good morning, Dr. Brent Hulsebus here, coming at you from the Hulsebus Rockford Chiropractic Clinic with another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. So last week we went over the whole idea is the stuff I see on TikTok, is that real? Is that really chiropractic? Is that something that you guys actually do? So today I wanted to follow up with that because we were asked the question, what happens when I pop my own neck or when I pop my own back? Or this goes along with this a lot, hand in hand. What happens when I crack my knuckles? Does that give me arthritis? So let's start off with the first question: is what happens when I pop my own back or try to make my own neck crack? Is that good for me? The answer to that question is you shouldn't be doing that. What happens is two of the vertebrae will lock up and get stuck. And what happens is when they get stuck, the ones above and below move extra to compensate for the fixation of the two being stuck. Now, why do they get stuck? In chiropractic, we call that a subluxation. They get stuck because some type of trauma, stress, or injury happened to that joint, and the body doesn't want you to further injure those. So the body will lock those up and then give it a chance to heal. A chiropractor's job is to go and unlock those and make those move again. When the vertebrae don't move, there's no nutrients going to them. There's no nutrients going to them. They dehydrate. The disc does, and as the disc dehydrates, that starts the arthritic process. So as a chiropractor, my job is to go in there and make those move again, the stuck ones. Now, what happens when you try to twist your spine like that in a chair and turn and twist, or you see people grab their chin and try to turn their head away and try to make a noise, like here's a popping noise. A lot of times patients come in and say, well, I tried to get them all, but there's this one I couldn't get anymore. And those patients are always a mess, by the way, always a mess. So what happens is you get two that are stuck, the ones above and below move extra to compensate. So as those ones are moving extra, those are the ones that you get to make a noise. The problem is those ones above and below become more, what we like to call hypermobile or move extra. The ones in between, the stress just continues to add to them. They get more and more stuck. So the patient comes to me and says, hey, I try to get this, my spot, I can't get it. Maybe you can get it. Like they lay on their side and try to twist their own hips. It's usually a real struggle for us because you got that one so locked up now and so jammed. Or the people that come in and see me and they quit after a while. They say, well, I didn't need to come see you anymore because I figured out how to get it myself. And I hadn't seen them in 2 or 3 years. I'll re-x-ray them and I'll actually see a difference in their disc height. Nothing like catastrophic or this and that, but there's definitely a difference in their disc height. They definitely suffered from doing that. So the one argument I always get about why I should be popping my own back or doing that to myself is because people will tell me, well, it feels good. Hey, when I pop my own back, it feels good. So if it feels good, it must be good for me. And I always laugh at that logic because I think about eating like a big ice cream sundae. It feels really good when I'm eating it. Probably not really good for me. And also, think about like drinking heavily. When you've had a couple of drinks, you feel pretty good. But you learn the next day that it's not good for you. So the whole attitude, well, if I do it and it feels good for me and I feel relief after I do it, it must be good for me. There is a little bit of relief when you first feel. There's a little bit of endorphin release when you get those bones and make the noise. There's a little, chemicals that are dumped in those joint spaces to make you feel a little bit better. But don't mistake that as you're doing what we're doing. We have to get weird angles. When I went over to Europe one time, my neck was really bugging me on that airplane flight. And trust me, I really wish I knew how to take care of myself. Even my grandfather practiced here in 1949. There was very few chiropractors around. So he always wanted to get adjusted himself and get to help everybody but himself. Matter of fact, at one time, he actually took little wood blocks and put them on the walls based on his x-rays, and he would thrust himself up against the wood blocks, trying to self-adjust them. My father said he put a lot of holes in the wall and did a lot of cussing, but he never really got himself taken care of. So the whole idea of doing that, is that good or bad for you? Most of the time, we find out that you're just causing a small problem to get worse and worse and worse every time you do it. So please refrain from that. It's a tough habit to break sometimes. I actually x-rayed a kid one time that was 15 years old, and he liked to turn his neck to gross out his two older sisters. And he already had disc thinning at 15 years old. And he actually had a little bit of an arthritic spur growing. And those are pretty much permanent. So bad idea. Again, also, we talked about last time, those TikTok videos, we put you in a certain position to adjust you. We flex your shoulders forward to adjust it between your shoulders. And you see these kids that crisscross their arms and arch you backwards, which is the exact opposite action of what we do, the exact opposite. Let me hit the knuckles real quick. People say, is it okay to crack my knuckles? There actually was a doctor one time that only cracked the knuckles on one hand and never the other. I think this guy probably would scare me or freak me out that somebody could only do one hand and not the other. But he never get arthritis in either hand. So that's not really a true thing either. It doesn't cause arthritis. What causes arthritis in the spine, like I said, is the fact that the one in between stays locked more. The ones above move extra. That's what causes the arthritis in the spine. That's the difference between cracking your own knuckles and cracking your spine. When you crack your knuckles, one of your finger joints doesn't get stuck. If one of your finger joints got stuck every time you cracked your knuckles, I guarantee you'd stop cracking your knuckles. So two different things, two different scenarios, two different outcomes. And remember, just because it feels good doesn't mean it's good for you. All right, well, that's another episode of Ask the Chiropractor. This is Dr. Brent, host of us Chiropractor at Rockford, Illinois. If you have a question for Ask the Chiropractor, feel free to ask us. Send us a message, give us a call, stop in and ask us, and maybe next time you'll be the Ask the Chiropractor question. Other than that, everyone stay safe, stay healthy. Feel free to share this. If you haven't known already, this is a podcast, this is a live video, this is YouTube, this is Facebook, this is everywhere. We're sharing as much as we can, Instagram. Any questions or problems, let us know. We'll talk to you real later. Thanks, everybody.